Salutations everybody, it is Maddie here today, and there's something very strange about Bethesda's marketing as of late. They have two very big AAA titles coming out in this fall, which are Wolfenstein 2 and The Evil Within 2, yet they're both receiving very minimal marketing, and this odd transformation occurred around the same time as when Bethesda's review policy had changed. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily a coincidence, but we can see the impact in sales when we look at Prey and how that instantly got a price dip only weeks after launch to not just like a $50 point, but actually $40. Prey was a decent game, but it definitely did not sell well whatsoever, and I think a big part of that was because Bethesda didn't market it all too much. And I'm starting to wonder, is the same thing going to happen here with Wolfenstein 2 and The Evil Within 2? Now, we can make an argument that The Evil Within 2 is not receiving a ton of coverage because it's a horror game, and horror games tend to be very niche nowadays. But we don't even have a full gameplay video for The Evil Within 2. We literally received that trailer, which had gameplay snippets. It was mostly live action, but that was it. Aside from that, we have not seen anything of The Evil Within 2. Now, there is a chance that at QuakeCon we'll see more from both of these games, but on the other side of the coin, we have Wolfenstein 2, which has admittedly received a bit more marketing. Every now and then on YouTube, I'll see an ad pop up. Bethesda has this cool little Wolfenstein series, which is really old-fashioned in an alternate America, and that's designed to help promote Wolfenstein 2. But here's the thing, is a lot of this promotion is being done through the YouTube game. Now, while a lot of us here are engaged in the hardcore gaming community, we have to remember that we are very small in comparison to the millions of consumers outside who learn about this through advertisements on different websites as well as television commercials. Now, this is a study from 2015, but the power of advertising for video games on TV has grown significantly. Ad dollars spent on TV by the video game sector increased 47% last year versus 2014, the report states. During 2015, 65 brands placed 406 different spots on US national television just over 250,000 times, adding up to an estimated value of $629.2 million. That's significantly up from 2014 when 52 brands ran 298 different spots, spending an estimated $427.4 million to air them for 154.5 thousand times. Now, this is an article really focusing on mobile titles, especially because as social media grew, advertising on various social media platforms for these free-to-play mobile titles became incredibly popular and essentially shrank TV advertisement for games. So while this isn't a study focusing down on console games and PC games, it's still talking about gaming in general, and so advertisement on games on television isn't down, making me wonder why there haven't been many television spots for these games. Now, perhaps they're waiting for the last month to do a huge marketing campaign, but the thing that I wanted to point out is that it's different in this case because we have this thing called sequel fatigue, and in data it suggests constantly that no matter what the game series is, usually, most cases, not all, the sequel will sell worse than the first entry in the franchise because it's either 50% of people will like that game and will buy the next one, or 50% of people will not buy it because they didn't like the previous one or just haven't played the previous one. So if you are selling a sequel, you want to do considerably more marketing to let people know, especially with Wolfenstein 2, like, hey, you can get into this story despite not playing the first one. We'll catch you up to date. Don't worry about it. Same thing with The Evil Within 2. They have to start making these games a little bit more known, I'd say ahead of time, compared to what we see from Bethesda, which is let's just ramp up all the marketing in the last 2 months of the game's release to let people know about it. Yes, that does create hype, but in the scheme of things, I think with sequel fatigue, they have to keep that in check for the survival of these games. Otherwise, they seem to be set to meet the same fate that Prey did, and Prey was not a new IP, but Prey was a brand new start for a series, and considering the first entry of Prey didn't sell well, thinking of a sequel down the line that will more than likely happen, how well will that actually sell? Television advertisements can be a very different situation for games because maybe certain stations they only target at certain times with their advertisements, so a lot of us actually end up missing them, where perhaps these games are getting more exposure without anyone really knowing, but I don't think that's the case. Hell, even with Fallout 4, we didn't see any television advertisements until around October. Anyway, it's a discussion I wanted to have. Get your thoughts on the advertisement methods from Bethesda in the comments down below. Fire away, people. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content we create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.